Thank you, Joy Perry, for rescuing the recording of this meeting. So it's Thursday, October 11th, and I wanted to do an extra leader meeting this month because it is such a long month. So normally we'd be at the midpoint here, and we're really not, because this is kind of like that middle week. And what I'm happy about with this is that so often the Scott's birthday weeks or whoever's birthday we're celebrating is the last 2 weeks of the month, which means that this week is typically a lousy week because people work to get their first 2 weeks in to get their rich rewards. They'll work the last 2 weeks to earn whatever the birthday thing is, and then the middle week kind of becomes the redhead stepchild, and nobody wants to put anything in. So we don't have that problem because we all got a month-long goal. So nobody needs to sit on anything. There's nothing to wait for. Everybody can plow forward and submit shows in a timely way, the way that we are supposed to, regardless of what else is happening. So I hope that you all have taken a look at your team goal, because now we're at week 2. Week 1, they did put up, after week 1, it wasn't on Friday, but somewhere within the week during week 2, they did finally put up the progress report of how you did so far. Yeah. Now, obviously, tomorrow we'll bring a new one, but I was super excited because I know quite a few of you were like, my goal is too high, that's crazy, da-da-da. And then here we had Phyllis hit 30% of her team goal right in the first week, which means that you're ahead of schedule to earn, because obviously if you did the same percentage this week, you'd already be more than halfway there with 3 weeks to go, not 2. So that's amazing. The same stat was true for Sylvia El Sayed. She is 30% as well. And then Elizabeth Hall, she hit 22%, and she was one of the biggest ones saying, my goal is ridiculous. Remember how many faces she made on the leader call and all that? And it turns out that she is totally ahead of schedule as far as earning. So it really is the type of thing that we need to remember our to-go training that Jennifer Bond did a couple of conventions ago, right? Where you put that number up, and then each week you deduct what you have to go so that you can really have a better handle on what it is that you actually need. Because percentages or just kind of hoping you're going to hit, all those things are not as helpful as seeing a dollar amount and then knowing, okay, I have, XYZ on my calendar. That's probably good for however many thousand. What does my team have? And that's really the next key part is, are you in touch with your team to know what's on their calendar and to support them through those shows, whether they are brand new or whether they're seasoned or anywhere in between. I think it's great to talk to people during their shows, before the show, after the show. It keeps that relationship going. It keeps you really on your toes, as far as just little extras of what they might need. Because somebody who, is selling $7,000 a month still needs that extra support, because if she's selling $7,000 a month, then she should be recruiting at least 2 people. And there's probably something that we could help her with in order to recruit some more. Somebody who's selling less than that, if that's what they want to sell, that's fine. But anybody who's out regularly doing shows could be recruiting with the right extra help. On Saturday, you know how I posted, I'm driving to the air show if anyone wants to call me. So Phyllis called me and we were chit-chatting and ended up going over with her because she had a show imminently. Like, she had a show within a couple of hours of our call. And I said, so what are you going to be doing for your show close? And we ended up going over the whole thing of how to do the way that I do anyway, the ticket game. and which then leads into the Q&A. And she was doing the Q&A, but not with that lead-in part with the letters that I do, which I feel gets people in the mode of wanting the tickets. I don't know. Phyllis, do you want to just share a little bit about that, about our conversation? And I don't mean to put you on the spot.
It's okay. I did it at my show last week, and I had about maybe 10, 15 women at the show, and I played the Q&A question. What I didn't do was I forgot to write down the alphabet letters that I needed, but I used that little cheat card that came in the new kit, the one with the spiral. So I used the letters that were the beginning of, like, say, Hostess Rewards or things like that. So I would throw out an H or I'd throw out an R, and my response would be, excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My brother's moving some things out today. Come on, Buttons. So I used the letters, and it got people really engaged. It was a lot of fun. By the time I finished, they didn't want to stop. They wanted more and more because everybody wanted to win. So I did. I went for more and more, and I made sure that what I did, I asked people who had already won something, who had already gotten 2 or 3 tickets, to not answer this time so everybody could get a ticket. So it was really good because there were so many people and they were so fast. They were answering right away, but they were not throwing out the answers that I needed. They weren't saying rewards. They were saying riches, or they would say something like rabbit or anything. It wasn't really related to jewelry. So I got a chance to explain to them what that letter meant to me in terms of Park Lane.
Oh.
So it was a lot of fun, and it was very informative. I got a couple of, I think I get 2 or 3 bookings out of that, and I got a phone call a couple of days later asking if I could come and show her and her sister the jewelry. So I really do think that game, and a game I picked up from Joy as well, made the difference, in my presentation. It works well to get people more engaged instead of having them sitting there looking at me like, just kind of looking to see what I'm going to say next. They were interactive, and they loosened up after the game. That was one of the things that I realized. So I'm going to put you guys on mute because my little girl is going to be fussing.
The way that I ask for the letters in order to kind of keep them in movie head is I tell them, okay, here's how you're going to get tickets. I'm going to say a letter of the alphabet. You shout out a place or an occasion that you would wear or buy jewelry for. Whoever says, so if I say W, because this is the easiest one, if I say W, you say, and they all will shout out in unison, wedding. Okay. Now there is no W, so that's why. But I give anybody who answers a ticket just to kind of get them warmed up. That way, when you say B, they'll chant out birthday party. They'll say bar mitzvah. Whatever. Yes, you need jewelry for all those occasions, and B is for booking your own style show. Right. So that kind of keeps it running a little more smoothly and keeping on some sort of jewelry head. But Phyllis, just as a quick review then, and for anyone else who might want to try this, B, the letters I do are B for booking a style show, F is for fundraiser, which is, of course, if you have a school, team, cause, or organization of any kind that you want to raise money for, would love to partner with you, etc. P is for payment. You go over the payment options. And then letter O is for our business opportunity. And then that's where you kind of segue into, if you have a recruiting album where you have the photos and the paychecks and all that, that's where you bust that out. If not, you, either way, you do a little, that's a great spot to tell your story if you haven't done it anywhere else in the show. And then you segue into, this is your chance to ask any additional question about either hosting the style show get together like Susan's doing here tonight, or what I'm doing here tonight, selling Park Lane jewelry. Any question on either of those topics gets you an additional ticket. Now, I do both of those topics because I do really feel that it helps with the bookings. There are lots of people that will say they only do recruiting questions, but I would just as happily answer booking questions because you can always turn a hostess into
Mhm.
a recruit. So if that's not something that you've gone over with your team in a while, or it's not something you're using yourself, and you aren't getting the bookings and the recruits that you want at your shows, I would encourage you to give this a try or to go back to it. Sometimes I feel like this is one of those things where you're like, I used to do that, and why did I get away from it? You know, and I feel like that's true of a lot of things where you're like, why did I ever stop doing that? Now, Phyllis, you mentioned that you picked up something from Joy. Would either you or Joy like to share what that was?
Joy, I think you might remember, I really liked when you did the envelopes and the money, when you put the money to show people what the rewards were.
Well, I do a couple different things. One, to show people the beautiful benefits that Parklane offers for a hostess program, I give every customer $20. Fake money. Okay? Yeah, it's fake money. And I hand them all $20, and people are like, why is she giving me money? Or why I only get 20? And then I like when there's 10 people, and if it's not 10 people, I explain that every customer, regardless of the size of their order, they're supporting the hostess. That's the beauty of this program. So I'm like, oh, Phyllis, when you purchase something, then I hand the hostess $20. So I'm handing the hostess $20 from every guest in the room, so that they know I want all of y'all to order. So then I say, okay, Michelle, how much money do you have? And she'll be like, I have $180. I'm like, oh, you forgot about that outside order. So I pull out that 20. And so now she's at how much? $200. Now, a lot of times people in the room are like 20, 40, 60. I'm like, okay, now, so she's at $200. That must mean you got 10 orders. Well, the beauty of Parklane is we doubled that. So I just pull out another $200 and be like, bam, there you go. And so I'm like, how much did you get there? And so she shows that now she got 400. And then I'm like, ooh, I talk about how they get thank you gifts and all the other things. But I also give her another $100 from me. That was my gift for you hosting a party. So now she's at $500, right? Then I'll show her, well, you know what? If 3 of y'all, and I hand them $300 bill, and I'm like, if each one of you all book a party, guess what? I'm going to give y'all that $300. But guess what? We're going to give her another $300 of jewelry just at your party. So that's the booking incentive. So she's paying the $19. But so they can see she got $800 worth of jewelry, and she hasn't even done anything yet. So I show that. That's one thing that I do. And that's just a visual. I like people to see how much money she gets versus stacking the jewelry. It's just a different way to stack the hostess.
Right.
And then the other thing that I did, and I don't know if you want me to go into detail, but Michelle, have you heard of the dice game?
I've seen Kelly post about that, but certainly you are welcome to review that.
So what I do is inside of every envelope, there is, and I can post it on your page, but inside of every envelope is 1 through 12, and it says book a party, win a prize, or free gift. Book a party, win a prize, grand prize. Book a party, win a prize, yes. So those three items, right? And so in 1 through 12, I have them in there, and my instructions has all the detail. Then I have 2 big fuzzy dice, and I let everybody know, and I'll just act it out so you all can see how I do it in my car. I'm like, ladies, I have a wonderful game for you. Now, here's the rules of the game. You're going to roll the dice, and you're going to roll a number. And here's the objective. You're going to pick a card with that number on it. Now, the only way you can play my game is you got to do what's in the card. It's called, you're going to pick a prize, or you're going to win a prize. You got to take that prize. You got to take the prize. Or if it says book a party, you better book that party. And if it says grand prize, you're going to take the grand prize. Now, you know, if it says book a party, you're going to book a party. And you get me. So they're like, okay. And I'm like, now, I know y'all want to roll these dice. Now, we're not playing craps. You're going to roll the dice. And then I walk around. The person that I already think's going to want to play, because they're looking at those dice like, I want to play. And I'll be like, you want to roll my dice? And she'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, but if you roll the dice, you got to do what the envelope says. And look, I know where y'all live, and she does too. So pretty much around the room, most of the time, everybody wants to roll my dice. And then as soon as I give everybody, and I'm like, do not open your envelope. And they're like, oh my gosh, I want to open the envelope. And I'm like, so you all know if it says book a party, y'all gonna book a party. If it says win a prize, and I do it, this is how I say, y'all gonna win that prize, right? It may be a piece of chocolate, I don't know. And if it says grand prize, you get the grand prize. So y'all ready? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait. Just to let you know, if you already know you're gonna book a party, guess what? I have some beautiful pieces over here. You go pick your piece right now, and you get whatever is in the envelope. Whatever's in the envelope, you already get this piece over there. And so people are like, okay. And it could be a piece. It could be $100. I've done $100 over there. And we go around the room, and usually the first person, I say, go ahead, open your envelopes. And they're like, book a party. I knew I was going to get book a party. I said, you made a promise. Don't you mess up. And we're going to book that thing. And then the other lady, like, I got book a party. That's what they all say. And I'm like, you said you're going to book a party. You better book your party. And then the other lady be like, I got win a prize. I'm like, you better book your party. She's like, I got win a prize. I'm like, your prize is me. And so pretty much I usually get a lot of bookings as a result of that. The key to that is people are very excited about playing the game, and I make it fun and act really silly with it. But you have to follow up, set the date at the party, and follow up, because they get all excited about the game. And I'm like, you said you were going to book a party, and I'm going to tell the police on you. So that's what I do.
That's awesome. You know what, Joy? I would love to have you teach this on an upcoming Lunch and Learn. So if we could, if I could get with you about your availability for one of the upcoming Tuesdays, that would be amazing.
Okay.
I know you have some travel and you have work issues and stuff, so that's why I don't want to say this Tuesday, but we could work it out separate.
Actually, I probably can do it this coming Tuesday because I'll be in the office by myself, but I'll let you. We can work it out.
Okay, awesome. That would be great. I'm sure everybody agrees we would like the team to hear all that.
Yes. And can I ask a question, please?
Of course.
Hey, Joy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You had said you have your cards 1 through 12.
Yes.
Can you explain the 1? Because I do that game as well, but
no, not 1. I'm sorry, it's 2.
2 to 12. Okay, great.
You got 2 dice. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. Because I was wondering, how did the 1 come in? Okay, thanks.
But I have it all. I have it all on. It's all laid out in a Word document. How you even make the cards, how you label the cards, everything. Even instructions.
Awesome.
I just wanted to follow up on Joy. I wanted to say that I also played that game. I played 3 games, and that game was the one where I got the booking, where people volunteered who didn't even pick the card. They didn't even have the card that said, I'll have a show. When they saw other people willing to book a show, they were willing to book a show. And it was so much fun at that point that, everybody was just saying yes to everything. So that's a very, very effective game. Very effective. It was for me at this last show I just did on Saturday. But the games really make a difference. I just wanted to say that.
Kelly Key, the reason why she keeps being in the top 25 in sales for the company is that she's been doing this since convention. And she is getting sometimes as many as 7 bookings at a show, depending on the attendance at a show. So I'm really glad to have finally more clearly learn this, because I did not do a good job of educating myself on it. So thank you so much. I really feel like I want to try this.
I have one last point. I went to find some, Joy had, like she said, she had this big fuzzy dice and they were really cute. I couldn't find the fuzzy dice, but I found some neon color dice, but I didn't read the packet. And when we rolled the dice, they lit up. So they had all these lights bouncing all over the floor. And I got them at the dollar store. They were so much fun that everybody wanted to roll the dice because they liked the lights. So having fun dice is a big deal too.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
And I will say this, and I'll add to it. You know what's funny? It depends on your personality style. But I do think even if you're more, because I mean, I can be animated. Even if you're more like, okay, y'all want to play? People see the dice and I don't know, they want to just roll the dice. Like, I want to play because I see something in the envelope. And then, I mean, literally one time I remember giving out Hershey Kisses and they were like, are you kidding me? I'm like, well, you can book a party. They'd be like, I'm going to get the party. I said, you should have booked it anyway. I gave them the prize anyway. I've even done deal or no deal. I'll tell them, here's the deal. If you don't like your Hershey Kiss, go get a booking bag. So.
Oh, okay. I could go on and on. One more thing, and I did that one last because after the first one I did with yours, the letters that I did for you, that I copied from you, Michelle. After I did the dice one, I had a few bookings, I had a couple of bookings from that game. But then with the dice, you get even more people who've been thinking about booking. So it's your second chance to ask for bookings. That's the big deal, having those 2 games that get bookings. Really good. Okay, I promise I'm quiet now.
We don't need anybody to be quiet. We're here to share and learn. This is awesome. So, any questions on any of what you heard so far? All right, great. So then this is the kind of stuff that when you're chit-chatting on the phone with your team members, you refresh their memory on this stuff, or you hear that's when they'll kind of share with you like, oh, I didn't get any shows booked at my last show. Okay, well, how did you close up the party? And unfortunately, many of their answers is just, I stopped talking. Like, I started taking orders. And that's not how you close a party. You know, the opening and the closing are the most important parts of the party. Because even if you don't create a ton of desire for the jewelry, which is what we need to do, but even if they don't do the greatest job of it, if you have enthusiastic guests, people who like to touch stuff and try on and whatever, you can still get past that. But without a strong show opening and without a show closing, you're really not going to get the bookings. And we are much better at that generally than our team members are. So it's important that we're kind of going over that stuff. One of the habits I always had in my former business, and I need to do a better job of it here, was every time I was driving to a show or from a show, I called someone else that I suspected also had a show the same night. And then I would say, all right, call me when you get out of your show. Because first of all, I hate just driving home from a show and not talking to anyone. So I love to talk to somebody right after a show, whether it's, and because if you both just did a show, that's awesome, because then you could both report in what you did. And, oh, I did 1,000 with 6 people. You did? How'd you get 1,000 out of 6 people? So if you could kind of put that into your repertoire of using your Bluetooth, of course, call somebody on the way to your show, and find out who has a show or who will be up when you're leaving your show, so that you can have that immediate enthusiasm with someone. If you know you're going to be hanging out in your office doing stuff, let your team know, hey, who has a show tonight? I want somebody to call me on the way home from the show. And talk to them from home. All of these things keep people engaged, keep people excited to share, and it doesn't feel so coachy. It feels more friendly almost, where you're like, all right, hey, how'd it go? And because if they are consistently selling $1,000 at a show and are not bringing recruit leads to the table, they are missing something in their show, and we want to fix it with them. There are so many great sellers in Park Lane that aren't building a team and aren't supporting the team that they have. And these frequent reach outs and contacts and quick Facebook messages where you're like, hey, when's your shows this week? I want to talk. And let them answer you, so that then you can put on your radar that you want to talk to them. I promise you that you will see an increase in the volume that your team does and the enthusiasm that they have for you and each other with more contact like this. And then that's how you will find yourself winning these contests and hitting team goals. This is one where everybody who hits the team goal gets the prize. And I'm almost positive it's going to become a hostess only in the next catalog. We have a bunch of jewelry upcoming that we're going to earn. I talked to Scott yesterday for the first time in quite a while. And the November jewelry that we're going to be earning is all hostess only in the next catalog. And I will say that this season I have found to be my best results with the hostess only. And I think it's a combination of that the pieces are great and the way that I have kind of transitioned into presenting it, because I never quite knew what to do with the hostess only jewelry, because I was almost a little afraid of it, because I hate when people get annoyed that they can't buy it, right? Have you ever experienced that where they're like humping and rolling their eyes and stuff like that? And I don't know if it's like worse in New York or what, but I definitely was like a little afraid of it. But then I just decided, you know what? The newer batch of hostess only jewelry really is a lot less expensive than the pieces we've had in the past. We have awesome hostess only pieces that are only $40 and things like that. That's a price point people can get on board with. And for the watches, even though they are more like 80-ish, people are spending $400 on watches. People, not Michelle Zito, but like people in society pay $400 for like those Michael Kors watches and stuff. So when they see 82 for something that looks super similar, if they're not someone who buys it strictly for the name and just because they do really love the way it looks, they're going to be psyched about $82. So one thing that I really did start doing lately was the hostess only is the only jewelry that I still keep in a roller. Everything else I have in the trays. And then when I do the ticket game, when I do the B for booking your style show and I'm doing the once over of what you get when you host, I say, and the final thing you get is that, well, I guess it's not the final thing. I said, but also you get to shop magnificent special jewelry. And I unroll it. And that's when I show it. So I use one of the extra liners to lay it on so that like I pass each piece. If you love watches and now they're passing it around and they are salivating over the pieces. Now, what I have to show, just so that you know what the pieces are that I'm doing the baubles necklace, which is a holdover from a season or two now, but it's still so popular. I'm doing both of the watches, the Boss Babe and the white one. Boss Babe has been, although I've been doing the Win as well, and I just read yesterday that somebody was saying it's sold out. I hope that the hostess I just put in is still getting one. But the Win watch, and then that new Prescott bracelet that comes in the silver and the rose gold, the one that's hard to open. You open it like a crest bracelet. Do you know what piece? Should I hold up the pieces? Do you guys know what we're doing? Or you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Okay. What are you saying, Phyllis?
You said the Prescott bracelet?
Yes, the Prescott. Isn't that what it's called? Yes, that one. Thank you, Summer. That one, it has been really popular. They are in love with that. And then I think I still have one or two other pieces, but that's not, I have that one that looks like the Van Cleef and Arpels necklace that we just got, the rose gold one with all the little, we had just earned that at convention. And I will just tell you right now, I am so cheap when it comes to purchasing hostess only jewelry. Like, I hate doing it. So when I know that something that is going to be, something that we're earning is likely to be hostess only, or it is going to be hostess only, you bet that I make sure that I earn that jewelry. And a lot of times we see the pattern now. The convention award jewelry is often hostess only. And the special pieces we're going to earn in November are upcoming hostess only. So I'm telling you that bold face. So if you're like me and you don't have a lot of hostess only because you hate buying it, then fix that with some of these upcoming incentives. And for the hostess only pieces that you do have, give it a try with this unrolling it special. And you don't necessarily have to do it at the end. You can do it at the beginning so that they're constantly like looking over to the side, because I'll say, you know, so I'm going to pass this all around as a review for Susan, that she can purchase these at the discount, but also as a preview for you, because you can identify now what you want to get at your show. Because the way I'm trying to get around that you can't buy it is you can't buy it today, but you certainly can get it at your show. So the sooner we have it, the sooner I can get it for you. So I would recommend giving that a try and maybe going over some of that in the chit chat with your team. Yay, Belinda, how are you? I know you're probably on mute. I don't know if you're driving or you're in your house or what you're doing, but we see your name, so yay. Anybody else want to contribute a thought as far as things that we could be talking with our team about more often to increase results?
I have a question. I have a concern. My team, you know, we're kind of in the building stage. So my team is very anxious, and I am as well, to get this out in front of people. So when they schedule their parties, they tend to send people a link. People go on the website and shop. But then they come back to them, or they go on the website and look, and they come back and say things like, wow, I don't know if I can come to the parties. We're kind of, it's very expensive, blah, blah, blah. So my concern is, and I don't generally do it, I don't like to give people a catalog or send them to the website before the show, unless I've had a chance to really sit with them and to explain how it works, the 2 and 4 and different things that they can get, and really educate them so that they can educate their guests. I find that people lose people, and I don't know what else to do. I don't know how to get around that, because people do want to see what they're coming to the party for. They want to see it in advance, but sometimes it turns people away. I'm a little concerned about that. I don't know. I need something to do.
Yeah. Now, does anyone else have a similar concern or have come across that? Because that's certainly not the first time I've heard that. And one of the things that I'm going to say 2 things, because one, while you were talking, I actually thought of an idea I've never tried before. But what I'm going to say first is that one of the things that I've been teaching on the welcome call is to try to put into their heads that the automatic thing is, if they can't come to me, I go to them, right? So anyone who responds, no, I can't come to the party, the immediate answer, this is more for like their launch and when they know people, although we can certainly tell every hostess to offer that service to anybody, right? Because if you're doing a show in your general neighborhood, probably her guests are from the general neighborhood, and I know I'm willing to do a personal appointment with someone who can't come, right? Right. So you can say, anyone who says no, I would love to do a personal appointment with them. I can meet them at their work. I can meet them for coffee. I can swing by their house. They can swing by my house, whatever they're more comfortable with. Because you're right, when you sit with people, that's where you get the best results, because they fall in love with it and they can hear about it. But what I was just thinking is, wouldn't it be kind of fun with the link for any party to send a short video of an explanation of the hostess plan? I don't know, not the hostess plan, of the customer plan. I don't know why I never thought of this before, but that would be so easy to do. You just record, and if you're not comfortable doing it yourself, we could, I could make one, and for anybody who wants to use that doesn't want to make them their own. But if you are comfortable making your own little video, then say, I want to make sure that everybody knows the sale. Here's our amazing sale. Click this before you click the link, and then provide the link. So that really what you're sending is a little paragraph of, here's the explanation of the sale. Once you've watched this, click here to take advantage of it, and then include the party link. What do you think of that? I just thought of that while she was talking.
It'd be fun if we knew exactly how to do that. And I'm not sure I know how to do that, but yeah, that's a great idea.
The easiest way to do it would be to, if you don't have what I normally do when I want to do something like this is I record it on Zoom and then upload it to YouTube so that it looks like I'm sitting right now.
Okay.
But if you don't have a Zoom account, what you can always do is simply just record it on your phone or your iPad, and then you will need to open up a YouTube account first. So just you set up a YouTube and then you just record it, because it's going to be a super short video. Like, you have to get this done in 2 minutes or less, because otherwise no one's going to listen.
Right.
So do a quick 2 minutes, you upload it to YouTube, and then you save that in the notes on your phone where it says, thanks so much for checking out. You know, you keep a whole paragraph with the link in the notes on your phone so that it's always ready to go.
It's a great idea, because you can even send it to customers who just want the link anyway, who just don't understand how to utilize the incentive and the plans.
Right.
I come across that all the time.
Handy for anyone. You're right. Anybody who's just like, hey, I need to get a birthday gift. What's your website or anything? It doesn't even have to be for a party.
Right.
And I'll say, you know, most of my parties, whenever I get the person that books the party, I usually set up a Facebook event for them. And during that time, you know how people say, oh, I can't make it, but let me see the link and all that. I always put in there and send a message to that person and let them know, you can get a great deal. And I explain how they get a great deal. So I do a personal message to them, letting them know how they can get a great deal. And then usually the hostess always backs it back up and says, yeah, she always gives this 50% offer. Last time she gave me, I got this piece for $200 for just $25. They forgot they spent $90, but.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I've even put on there, I can show you a way to get that Whopper for just $25.
Joy, when you say you set up a Facebook event, what does that mean?
So every time I get a hostess, and pretty much I'm like, are you a Facebook user? And I ask her that. And if she says yes, then I'm like, can I friend you on Facebook? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, what do you think about creating the party as a Facebook event, as well as we sending you all the links, and I send you an invitation electronically. I do a digital invitation. But also, this gives me a way to know who she is on Facebook. When her friends reply, I create the event, though. I don't have her do it. I like to create the event because I want to make sure that I'm included in the event, and I don't want her to invite 200 people either.
Right.
So, just understanding that. But I'm able to message those guests, and at the end of the party, I can be like, oh, she's only 2 orders away, or, oh my gosh, she got all this free stuff just for hosting a party, or whatever I wanted to say in there.
Okay. I've never done that. That's
Phyllis, I'll add you to an upcoming party that I have so that you can see.
Okay.
Yeah, and Joy made many important points there. One is that it's got to be the same smallish circle of people that she's inviting if she was mailing invitations. Because once 200 names go in there, it seems like it's a public event that's not special in any way. And the only difference maybe in the Facebook event is that if her mother-in-law lives in Boca, yes, invite her. And if her sister-in-law lives in Cleveland, yes, invite her. Like, so throw in a few of your long-distance people, but it shouldn't be a tremendous difference than the people who are invited in the normal fashion. It's just another way to reach people, because some people check their texts all the time. Some people check their Facebook all the time. Some people prefer to open up something in the mail. Some people prefer a phone call. The more ways we're reaching, the more people will be there the night of the party. Because there's a big difference between, yes, I'm coming, and where do I put my jacket?
Okay.
Big difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The other thing that having a Facebook event is great for is that when people say, oh, you know, like, let's say your hostess was like, man, I can't believe that it rained like this and I had 6 cancellations like that. And you know that the 6 cancellations are on the Facebook event. You can say, you know what, Sue, why don't we do an after party? I love to do an after party on Facebook. And I'll go live and show an abbreviated version of the jewelry that we did, that we showed here at the party. I'll share the link. And in fact, if there's any long distance friends you want to throw in there that aren't already, put them in there too, so maybe they can shop your link as well. And when I've done that with people who either have a big online presence, they have a lot of family who lives long distance, or something weird happened that caused a lot of cancellations, then I have found that those are very helpful. So you call it the after party.
I like that.
Hey, Tamika.
Hey, Tamika.
So funny, Joy. You have such a, your picture, Joy Widget, your picture that you use for this looks like you really are there and just stone faced the whole time.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
I need a smiley photo for you.
Oh, I have to put another picture up.
I don't even know how to do it, so when I turn my camera off, see, look out, why are you turning your camera off? You look fine.
The sun just came out. It was super dark in this hotel room. The light right here on the desk doesn't work, so I'm like,
Oh, you look
I
great.
feel like I was in the shadows earlier.
That's funny. So any other thoughts, questions that you came to this call today with, hoping that we would talk about? What I do love about a mid-month meeting is the ability to kind of, have some more open chat. So yes, Joy, go ahead.
I just wanted to share something I did at my last party. And sometimes we always say, I keep going to the same group. And I want to do something different. What should I do differently? And I had a party this past weekend, and it was a lady who's done, I would say, 7 or 8 parties for me. And it was the same amount of guests. And what I did was play. We played, and I was like, who can be me? And because I said, I don't feel like doing it because y'all all know everything. So I sat down and I said, who knows what I was going to say next? And literally, this one lady went to town. She talked about the company. She told my why story. She played my game, my intro game. She talked about the sale. She even said, y'all gonna get $25 a free piece or something, she said, but I had to correct her. And then as we were doing it, everybody was like, oh my God, she should do this. They said it. I didn't even get a chance to say that. And so I realized that's a good little recruiting tip to do something different and say, who can do this? And just with people that you've been doing a lot of parties with. And it's interesting that it's somebody, we scheduled her starter show, but it was somebody that I have never really thought was interested in the business. She always said she couldn't host a party because her cousin or somebody sold jewelry too. So I was like, oh, okay. But the beauty was all of her friends said, you can do this. They all said, if you do this, we'll book a party from you. So they've already said they'll book a party from her. Unfortunately, I didn't get any bookings at the party that I normally get a lot of bookings from. But it's okay. I got a recruit that's going to get qualified quickly because they're all scheduling those. So it was something fun I did. And let's say you don't feel good one day. You can say, you know what? I got a little cold. Anybody can do this part? You gotta see how it goes.
Yep. What you're bringing up here is really what the whole theory of QVC and what all the infomercials do, right? Sometimes you can get some great sales skills learning if you just watch. Don't buy stuff because then, I don't want to create bad habits. But if you put on any of the shopping channels, no one's by themselves, are they? There's the person selling and there's the sidekick, right? We have a great sidekick at every show. And that sidekick is your past hostess, if she's at the show, which she normally is. Your past hostess knows a lot of the pieces you're about to show and probably has worn them and has things to say about where she wore it. Your past hostess knows what she got in free and discounted jewelry. Your past hostess knows that the order arrives separated for everybody, that her long distance friends, it just shipped straight to them. She didn't even have to worry about it. everything comes packaged beautifully and she didn't have to separate the order, right? These are all things that your guests don't know, but your past hostess does. And they will listen to her talk about it even more seriously than you, because they think, you'll say anything, right? But she's not going to lie. She's the past hostess. What is she getting out of this, right? So use your past hostess. And if you don't have a past hostess, the next level of good one would be a regular guest, somebody who has used the shopping plan a bunch of times, who has a lot of the jewelry, who's enjoying wearing it. She won't be able to help you with the hostess plan, but she certainly could do the rest of it. So remember to use your sidekick as much as possible. There's a reason why they do that on QVC. Any other thoughts, questions? Well, I'm going to close out with sharing something with you guys that I didn't share this whole time, but now that it's out there for the other person to know, I wanted to share with you guys because it's something that can benefit all of us eventually. So, that whole big Stella and Doc group that came in with Tish Mefford and all that? So I was the recommender of that team. So I sent Tish's name to Kathy Cassidy, and Kathy actually, no, I didn't. Excuse me. I sent it to Lori Mitchell. I sent her name to Lori Mitchell. Now, Tish, I just did it straight up research, girls. I went online, I Googled, this is how I find lots of leads. I just Googled leaders in Stella and Dot, leaders in such and such. I try to learn the titles that they have and stuff. And the reason why I put extra effort into this at this particular time, this was right before convention. Lori Mitchell sent an email out to some of the company VPs and said, Scott has an opening for an interview for a top leader on such and such a date. Please work to fill it. So that's what I did. And I provided her name and a bunch of others. Now, she did not go for the interview at that time, nor did she come to convention, but she agreed to meet with Lori and Scott after convention. So it then took several months for her to make her decision. And I knew very little about what was happening, just like all recommends. It's a confidential process. Many of you have been through it. So you know that it needs to be confidential for your own, I don't want to say safety, but you know what I mean. If they decide not to come, they don't need their old company knowing that, So since it is a confidential procedure, whatever. Okay, so they ended up coming on board back in May. Now, one might be thinking to themselves, oh my gosh, Michelle must be swimming in money right now if she recommended that team. That is actually not happening yet. And the reason for that is that each level of Park Lane has a weekly dollar amount that the team has to sell in order for you to qualify for that bonus. And the number for a company VP is triple that of a sales VP. Actually, I'm sorry, it's quadruple. So our team number, net sales for receiving that bonus is 20,000 net a week. So that is a number that we've done twice since they have worked here. And it's been the last week of August and the last week of September. And our team is amazing and growing, and we're getting close. Like yesterday, our net was 15. That's the closest we've come besides the weeks that we hit it. We either are like way off or we hit it. There's not been a lot of like almost theirs. And the reason I share this with you is because these are the types of bonuses. Anytime I've ever had any kind of special bonus from Park Lane, those are the bonuses that I recycle a lot of into the team. So back in the spring this time last year, I was on they incentivized me for a couple of things. And during that time, I went out on a lot of visits. I went down to Virginia, did an event with the Jenny Wells team. I went to Tiffany. I did a whole, where a lot of you girls are from now, but I was down in your area at this time last year doing lots of different events. The ones that I did right before convention, that was semi-funded by the companies, mostly funded by me. So when I can be regularly getting this bonus, it allows me to do things like get on airplanes and go to the people that live a little farther, or to go back to places that are closer, because I really do try to be fair about getting to the various teams. And, I do love going. I mean, Dale, your event last year in November, we had a great time. We got a ton of bookings. They have a fantastic venue. I would love to go back. But
Customers are asking for you.
oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, and I want to do that stuff, but I have to also be reasonable about how much money I can put into these events. The average event, it costs anywhere from $500 to $1,000. So when I can have this bonus coming in, I can go to somebody every month. I can be going out and doing a visit. While it's sometimes, or when it's never, it's going to be harder for me to get out and do as many events just because, I just have to be reasonable. So I'm just being totally honest with you guys so that you know that the general group goal that I've been tracking for us is $20,000 a week. It's a number that this group has done before. We've had people leave, but we've had people join. So it's a number that is by no means unreasonable, because there are weeks we've done 34, 40, and 40. But it's happening the last week of a month. So now it's like, how can we get it to every week of the month? And that's something that is why I do the consistency award, so that you guys get your weekly bonuses. I wanted to explain some of the rationale behind what we're doing here as well. The reason that I like to do this consistency award along with Mary Grace is that you make more money. Those of you that are entitled to weekly bonuses, which is senior divisions and above, and for senior divisions and above, you get weekly bonuses. If your team puts in the majority of your sales the last week, you make hundreds of dollars less than if that same volume went in over the course of the month evenly, because you're missing the weekly bonuses and you're getting one weekly bonus at the end instead of the bigger bonus throughout the month. Those of you that are divisions, you are on a monthly bonus, which is what, of course, a 5-week month helps you do. All of you that are divisions stand to earn an extra $500 when you get your monthly bonus. There's a recruiting one and there's a sales one. Now, when I track with Becky, she also remembers that the Mercedes bonus is really a monthly bonus as well. Because if you choose not to get the Mercedes, you still get that's an extra $500. So divisions, are you aware of the numbers you need in order to be receiving $1,500 in bonuses in your monthly bonus at the end of every month? Senior divisions, are you aware of the weekly bonuses that you can earn? And if not, let's schedule a call to go over what those numbers are, because they are net. So let's take a look at how you can be maximizing the bonuses you're on. Areas, you can be earning 50% of your personal sales. At the end of the month, they will give you a 10% bonus on your personal sales. Tamika, how much more money would that have been for you last month, right? When you sold $7,500? If you had the 8 active team members, then you would have been given a 10% bonus on your personal sales. 10% of $7,500 is $750. So these are bonuses that sometimes I feel like we get so caught up in the monthly incentives that we forget what our career plan offers. And that's where the money is. The rich rewards, all of that is fantastic. Gift cards, I love it. I love it all. But there are dollars that are sitting on Scott's desk instead of your bank account. So let's schedule some one-on-ones to go over where your numbers typically are and how we can get you on your monthly and or weekly bonuses that you're entitled to. Does that sound good?
Yes.
All right. So shoot me a private message as to what your availability is. I really have kind of cleared my schedule. You know, I know that between Greece and some other traveling and stuff that I did, I don't know if I felt to you guys that I was a little MIA, but I am back to normal, so to speak. Whatever normal life is, this is it. So I have kind of let home office know almost like I'm going to have to do a little less for you guys so that I can be doing more for you guys. So my days are free to talk to you. So if I don't have a slot, it's just because I'm talking to another one of you. I will find time for every single one of you because it is important to me that you are earning your bonuses that are available here. And then when you're hitting your bonuses, so am I, and we can see each other a whole lot more because I really want to be visiting with you guys as much as we can. And when we're all earning bonuses, that's what happens. And then my local team, I can do, you know, more with the, you know, everybody benefits. So any thoughts, questions?
I love it, Michelle. Question I had was the video, the little tape that you're going to do for the link. Who's going to do that? You or Joy? Because I definitely would like to have that.
I'm going to try my own.
I will make one. I will post it, and then everybody has the option to make their own, use mine until you make your own. Your leader might say, hey, you know, well, I am your leader, so you can use mine. But if you prefer someone else's, like, why don't we share them so that we can mix them up or get some ideas from each other or what. But I'm thinking I'm going to do this today because I did my hair and I have jewelry on, and I think I'm just going to do it while it's fresh in my mind.
That's great. Yeah, I just don't know how to do it, so.
That's no problem. I'm going to make one for everybody to use that either can't, doesn't want to, or whatever, and then everybody can, of course, choose whatever they want.
Good.
But I love that I would have never thought of this without this kind of idea sharing. So you guys also maybe let me know, how often do you want to do group calls like this? Because for me, I would be totally happy to do this every Thursday at this time. Mary Grace has a direct leaders call that she does. So if you're direct to Mary Grace, we're on a call every Tuesday. If you guys would like this to be every Thursday at this time, I can absolutely do that. Now, of course, there's no like black marks if you're not coming on or if it's too much for you or whatever, and you know it's just easier for you to do the one that we would normally do. But if you guys would like to do a weekly thing, because I love the one I do with Mary Grace every week, if you guys would find it helpful to do one every week, I'll make a recurring event right now, and we can have this time slot available to each other every week.
I would like that. I would really like that. I think it's good. It's good for accountability, kind of follow up on what you heard last week, what you didn't try yet, what you're going to try. I like it.
All right. Well, then if it's me and Phyllis, it's me and Phyllis.
I'll be with you.
And so then, you know what? I'm going to set it up because the more that we're in contact, we're in the busiest season. We're going to start running into, you know, volume, back orders, whatever. Let's handle it as a team so that you don't have to worry about, you know, not knowing the answers to things or whatever. So I'll set that up today too. I'm on a roll. All right. Awesome. I just love you guys so much. This is going to be a great, great season. We still have 3 weeks to go this month, and I know we are going to kill it. So now I get to say, if I don't talk to you, well, I'm going to talk to you lots of you one-on-one, I'd imagine. But I will see a lot of you next Thursday.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much.
See you later.
Bye. See ya.